And we should be live. I'm a little bit early. Just hanging out for a second. It tends to, I feel like every time I rewatch the beginning of the live streams, because I make sure to see when it actually started, it's always a different time. It's like 5 to 10 seconds. So I'm just gonna hang out. Are you shaking your head at me?
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be live by now. So I'm working on a bunch of different models today. These are all models I was too lazy to finish all the way because I don't like the very last step. So like, look how bad her hands look. They're like this Ken doll Barbie thing going on. It's because they're not done at all. They're just a base mesh that I just repositioned. If you look closely, you'll see a lot of things aren't totally lined up quite right. So I will be working and fixing on those things to get them all prepared for my Kickstarter, which is all women. It's gonna be awesome. And that's on February 3rd. Whatever the first Monday of February is. I think it's the 3rd. Cool.
This Monday.
There's a link in the description, so you can look at it. If you're here, you probably know who I am, because otherwise you just happen to stumble across me when I was in a live stream, which is very unlikely. So thank you guys for joining. Hello, I see someone is here. Gizmo. All right. So let's get started. Okay. So this is gonna be a lot of fun because you guys will see how little I know about sculpting hands. I thought about not doing this live because I'm like, oh no, then they'll know. And I'm like, wait, that's fine. I have a lot of people part of my Learn to 3D Model classroom, and I think it helps them when they see me learning something and how I sculpt things I don't usually sculpt. Hands are one of those things that I was never very good at drawing, like 2D either. And I regret it. I wish I'd spent any time on it. It would have made my life now a little easier. That's okay. I have my own references, so that should help. And I have my base mesh done. I just need to wrap this around, which is harder than you expect because their wrist always looks kind of broken when I try and like bend it up to fit to whatever they're holding. So that will be an experience. Do these have thickness? They do. They're just very thin. So yeah, this will be a really mellow work day. It's really just me taking really fine details and lining it up. It's definitely not the most exciting part. So I mentioned earlier, this is my least favorite part actually, which is especially why I was like, I'm going to live stream this because it will make me hate it less. Because at least I will be chatting with people, or people will be watching and hopefully learning something. I'll probably finish this model all the way, which means she'll be fully prepared for 3D printing, so I'll go over my steps for that as well. So issues like this, I'm not super concerned about it being absolutely perfect. That kind of detail is not going to make a 3D print hard to read or hard to paint or anything like that. This looks odd right here because some of the pieces are hollow, and that's because I haven't added any thickness to them yet. So in other words, she doesn't have a real elbow yet. But I decided I would sculpt these little decorations first. That way I have a little reference of where to put the rest of it. All right. Those little elbow guards, or whatever they are, came together pretty quickly. Now I'm gonna go through and make sure they actually fit her sleeves all the way around. All right. Just gonna tuck this away. That looks good enough. Very nice. And so now I'm gonna be doing a lot of adjusting with her little corset here because it's actually pretty thin. So I'm going to make sure that actually lays flat on the model. The brush is being kind of weird. There we go. So I'm gonna lay this flat first and then I'll worry about tucking everything else underneath it. So what I will do is I'm actually, if all the pieces are separate like they should be, and they are, I'm gonna hide them to make this a little bit easier for me. That way there's just less for me to worry about. Because of course, this is like a corset essentially, so it should be pretty form-fitting. I'm not sure what happened with these little bits that are kind of rough looking, but it looks like I'm able to smooth them away. That must have happened when I Dynameshed at some point. I didn't notice, which is kind of a bummer. That's okay. That little spot of green, I assumed it's from the dress, but I guess not. Oh well. Okay, I'm pretty sure this happened when I added panel loops, actually. Yes, I can tell it's happening. So sometimes when you add panel loops, if it's very thin, it will extrude through the front, and I didn't look very closely. So that's why I'm able to smooth that specific problem area away, because I know it is the inside. And the inside is its own poly group, so I can just smooth this away. Thankfully, because I was like, that really doesn't look very good. And that isn't how I made that. Oof, there's some ugly seams there. I'm glad this isn't too bad to clean up. I know when I was working on the last bit of this, I was a bit tired. Otherwise, I probably would have noticed this. My goodness. It's everywhere. It's looking better. Usually I'm a bit more careful. Let's see. So I'm gonna hide all these really rough, nasty edges away, and then I will Dynamesh this together so it's not a problem. And yeah, what I'm doing right now is not part of a normal workflow at all. This was a mistake that I just missed, because you can't really tell when it's far away or zoomed out because there's so many little belts and stuff anyway. So I just missed this entirely. My bad. The inside's painted all weird because it has a bunch of different overlaps from when I was painting other bits of the model. I'm glad I was able to fix this. Otherwise I would have just modeled it again because I have higher standards than that. I'm definitely not a perfectionist, but look, this looked pretty rough. There we go. That should be the last bit of that issue. There we go. Oh god, that wasn't too bad, and that looks much, much better now. Let's go ahead and Dynamesh that. It actually lowered the poly count a bunch too, which is nice because it still looks good. Definitely gonna save this. I'm gonna check underneath to make sure that I don't have any big overhangs or anything, because that could be a problem if when I'm trying to 3D print this. Okay, and now I'm just gonna do some like gentle adjustments to fit this to her body. I made sure to turn off Mask by Poly groups, otherwise I would just get the same issue I had earlier. I'm keeping the poly group separate because the belts are each their own poly groups. If I want to adjust them individually, that'll be a really nice and easy way to do that. All right, this wasn't as as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's like a fish like jumping out of its tank. Please don't do that. I don't know if you guys could hear that. All right, go ahead and save. Each time like I finish a piece where I get where exactly where I want it to be, I always make sure to save. I do have this auto saving every 2 minutes anyway, but it's just good to have. Sometimes the auto saves don't work as well as they are supposed to. Hey Zaxis, what's it? So make sure I have mask my polygroups on, and then I can inflate exactly the spots I am trying to target, which would be right here. It might be a little bit easier just to smooth the bottom of the dress down instead, actually. So I might do that instead. Yep, that was much easier. Go. And now I really want to make sure that there aren't any gaps between like this tabard piece that she has and her dress. Otherwise, those will 3D print as holes, and that would be no good. It's okay if there's gaps on the edges. I just don't want like it completely away as it was at like the end there, for example. Yeah, this last part of the model where I'm doing all these like small adjustments, it's definitely a bit tedious, but it can be relaxing. All right, that's looking good. Do the same thing for the back. This back piece is already pretty good, actually. I'll turn off paint just to be able to see this a little more clearly. Ooh, I did not like this song. Sorry, man. Not for me. All right, that looks pretty good. Not seeing any problems there. Turn paint back on. And let's see what the low resolution looks like. Pretty good. trying to think of any other creases I might add to this. Probably worry about that. Actually, no, I can do it now. I don't have to worry about it. Let's see, I'm gonna Dynamesh this instead. See how well that does. Looks good. Happy with that. And I'm probably gonna inflate this end. There we go. And I'm gonna want this to have obviously creases following where gravity is, but at the same time, I have like a pretty significant like wind blow for this model. So the creases would follow that. Okay. Let's see if this gets the effect that I'm hoping for. Yes, that's super pretty. Something is like rattling. I don't know what it is. Ah, it is this. Let's just move it a little bit so it's a little more. There we go. I'm just moving my mic so it's a little more steady. I don't need to worry about doing any creases and stuff that aren't visible. All right, that looks really, really nice. The top crease is a little harsh, but that's okay. Go with a pinch brush, and there we go. Perfect. As I get a bit lower, I'm trying to have it fall more downwards. Because, you know, gravity. Doing gravity stuff. All right, that small detail, I'm hoping added a lot to the overall model because I love pieces like this. I lost all the color though. I wonder when I lost that. Oh, I didn't. I just didn't turn on. Oh no, I did lose it. Okay. Why? Let's see. So I had it there. See, that's one thing because I'm pretty new to painting my models and stuff. I don't totally understand why that happens sometimes. Sometimes I lose my color. Sometimes I don't. I know for sure if I Dynamesh it when I don't have color on that it will forget and lose it. But occasionally like that, I'm not sure why that happened. That's okay. I think I wanted to do a different fabric crease anyway. Oops. Making sure I have rotate on, otherwise this doesn't quite behave the way I'd want it to. That was a really, really harsh crease, but I think if I smooth it out enough, it would look really nice. Yeah, that'll paint nicely. I've been seeing a lot more like really amazing painted pieces of my work. So now I'm like, I think about it a lot more than I did before. I always had it in mind, but now especially I'm like, ooh, let's make this as easy as possible for them because I love seeing it. Ah, yes. Part of the arm. I should probably Dynamesh this. There we go. Hey, Marty's here. Hello. All right, that looks much, much better. There's a weird little spot right here. Yeah, this thing looks like a disaster on the inside, which is fine. It's just the way that when I was Q meshing it towards the model to make sure there was no gap, so you won't have to like see that, it won't affect the model, but it definitely doesn't look very pretty on the inside. There we go. Looks good. Little elbow things are fine. Her hair, I thought was gonna need more work, but looks pretty good. Yeah, there's a spot right here. So I'll mask that. It's like a marker for me. Yeah, that definitely needs just more volume in general. Make sure back face mask is on, otherwise it will deform the other side of her hair. I don't want that. All right, now that I've added a little bit of volume, let's see. It's strange to be modeled in color, right? I think it's a lot of fun though. This is the first one I did it with, and then I did it with Tabaxi Rogue too. I think it just, I don't know. For me, it's just so much easier to see the personality of the model. So making sure this lays on her head. Otherwise there might be a bit like a hole back behind her hair and her neck, and that would suck 3D printed. All right, just kind of spinning her around. I'm gonna go to transparency to really make sure this is laid back the way I want it to be. Now we'll inflate this like through her head. So it'll look bad right there, but you're not gonna see that, so it's fine. Just like a quick and dirty fix. Like this needs to touch because that will just make it a little easier to 3D print. Hey, Terry's here. Hello. All right. That came out really nicely. I'm still avoiding the hands. It has to get done, and I will, just later. Looks good. Hey. No, I'm good.
Cool.
I added some more details for that Elven Sorceress.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm. This part of her sleeve now
Yeah.
has wrinkles on it.
Nice.
It's
Yeah,
coming
that's
together.
good. Oh, for sure. More than just coming together.
Thank you. I just have so many small things I have to fix up. I still don't think this makes any sense because I was trying to cover her hand because it doesn't look great. There, that looks better. Okay, I think I'm gonna start working on the hands. If it's a complete disaster, I'll come back to it later. Are the braids in front and back dress new too? No. That's all part of it. I don't know why I read your comment so weird. My brain was just like not processing it. Thank you. All I've done in the live stream so far is pretty much just making sure everything fits. So fitting the corset to her body, these little elbow decoration things that I have going on, making sure the hair is flat, that kind of stuff. Her face needs some adjustments too to her jawline. It's realistic, but she's an elf, so it doesn't have to be realistic. I want her to have like a really severe jawline. And more of a delicate neck. Her ears came out so freaking cute. I can't remember how I made them. I know I used the default like insert mesh brush. I think they were based on goblin ears actually. There you go. Just wanted a little stronger definition in her face, which I got. Oh, I probably lost all the color, huh? Oops, yeah I did. I don't have to repaint the face. If you Dynamesh without your paint showing, it just deletes it. I don't know why, but I think it's dumb. I don't like that it's it. Yeah, the edges are being really weird right here. Here. It's because they weren't perfectly laying flat to her face and I didn't notice until now. All right, but I can fix this up pretty easy. There we go. A pinch brush gets that looking pretty much the way I want it to be. I'm gonna Dynamesh it again and then go over it with clay polish. Do you have any interest in live streaming I support some of these if you need to see? Yeah, I've thought about doing that before actually. I just wasn't sure if anyone would be interested and I never asked. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I am interested in doing that. So I'm not sure when I'll do that, but I'll see who else is interested, and yeah, I'll probably end up doing that. There we go. Her eyes are all fixed up now. Much better. And that's something that wouldn't even affect a 3D print, or at least not a small scaled one, but I like for it to look as nice as possible. Carrie says, yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be great seeing the process. Yeah. I'll definitely do that at some point. So going through and just exaggerating a lot of these features because the face is very important. I definitely like having more definition under the eye as well. If you do it too much, I just look tired. But it really helps define the eyes when it's printed. Because I don't like to do giant cartoon eyes. Might change my style later on, but as of now, I like this. Because I've never painted eyeballs by minis. I just think they look cursed. When you paint eyeballs on minis, I just use a little bit of wash usually and just like shade their eyes. I think it looks really nice that way and really subtle. That being said, I obviously have seen professional painters who can paint a face on a mini with like a toothpick and it looks incredible. But that's on me. So I don't even pretend. I'm gonna go with a clay buildup brush because the texture on this is actually pretty nice for lips if you do it just right. If you do it too much, her lips just end up looking really cracked and stuff. Checking her hairline and stuff. There we go. I made her lips a little bit bigger. Her lips are a little crooked, but I mean, it's realistic. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone that has perfectly symmetrical lips. Yeah, I think our lips are too big. What is that? I guess really not that different. I'm just looking at them with a more critical eye. That does look better. She has like this really just small, firm mouth. I just think it's, I don't know, I'm like not 100% happy with it. From the front, I think it looks good, but like when she tilts her face, something about it's off. Yeah, her side silhouette looks really nice. The front looks nice. What is it? I might need to just move on from this and go back to it later. I'm probably just being too critical on it. Every now and again, I'm just like, you know what? There, that's what it needs. Fixed. If you're being too critical on your models, I highly recommend doing stuff like this, where it's like, just have fun with it. There we go. Perfect. I love it. Okay, she looks great. Let's see. It's that corner of her mouth. Okay, I figured out what it is. Ah, come on, ZBrush. I don't know how to push that back gently. That's what it is, though. So I know what it is. Because, like, I can see, like, each corner of her mouth, like, as if they're on the same plane. I knew something was wrong with this. I was just like, what? What is it? That's why I couldn't tell from the front. Okay, we're gonna zoom in. And we're gonna fix this. It's such a small detail. It's really not gonna affect the overall model, but I don't care. Oh, that makes me so much happier. I know it's like an imperceptible difference. Before, after, it's very small, but it just makes it look a little bit better. I had my bird hanging out with me all morning, and he's very displeased I put him away. He's like, why can't I hang out when you live stream? It's because you do those sounds. All right, I need to move on from this. Anything else, it's just becoming too much of a hassle at this point. See, it looks like rendered. All the shadows are falling pretty nicely. How does it look without paint? Pretty good. All right. Let me get some new hot coffee. Also, do I have my cute little snack break thing? I don't. Oh well, I can delete these. Yeah, I had coffee. Hey, what's up? Oh, thank you. I was like gonna do it. I was like, no, I don't want to get up.
I got you.
I gave her a tiny little mouth. I think she's really cute now because her mouth was all crooked. I didn't realize that, but. These lines, I'm missing like some fat right here. So you make them too strong, obviously she's gonna look really old. but they still need to be there. Thank you.
Sure thing.
Oh, it's new coffee.
Yes.
Wow, you like extra love me.
That was actually easier than putting it in the microwave, so yeah.
Hey, wait, come look at this. I've been obsessing on her stupid little mouth for like too long. Oh, now, oh God. Let me get rid of those lines. I thought I smoothed them out, but I didn't. There.
Yeah, no, it looks very Elven.
It looks good from the front and from the side, but I feel like from this angle, it looks a little weird. There.
I like it.
Hey, Xander, what's up?
That looked good, giving it just a little bit
Right?
more full lip on the
I
bottom.
need to move away from this. This is not that big of it. This is such a small detail in the model. I just am focused on it.
Oh, man.
Oh, I can't move away from it. I don't. Not 100% with it. Oh, whatever. Move on. I'm also gonna look at it before. Clicking on her face. Can you chill him out?
Yeah.
Thank you. He needs to be chilled. So that was the before. Her mouth was much bigger. I think it looks better. I think I overworked it. Takes a bit when I'm doing this much undo history back and forth. Yeah, no, I definitely made it worse. It looked fine before. This is kind of a good tip just in general, like to other artists out there. It's like, oh, that's really hot. Oh, wait, drink that. Don't overwork things. If it looks good, it looks good. Leave it alone. Yeah, it looked great before. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I added like some texture to it, and then it got really out of hand. Okay, let me now control redo for her eyes. Wait. Did I click something? I guess I did. Oh, I clicked the paint. Ah, damn it. Well, I'm gonna redo this then. It's okay, it's not gonna take nearly as long. Yeah, it looked so good before. I can't believe I like ruined her lips. And it was all live. That's funny. Bart just yelling at Ricky. Oops. You can't Dynamesh without paint on, otherwise it ruins it. Mask these two areas, then go to clay polish, and it will tighten that right up. There we go. And let's get my paint back on. And fixed. That's much faster. Thought you finished this one. Mm-mm. Her hands weren't posed at all, and there's a lot of parts of the model that just weren't done. I think it's a common misconception. There's a lot more to do even after the model is done, like being sculpted too, to make it ready for 3D printing. which is a lot of what I'm doing right now. Much better. I'll be right back. And I'm back. All right, let's keep working. Let's get this hand all fixed. It's really, really thin and just generally detailless. I might give her some rings too. We'll see how extra I'm feeling. I hate doing hands usually. I see, Xander, you're having trouble downloading 3D Builder. I've never used that program, so I hope someone in the chat can help you out. So right now I'm just adding a bit of volume to each of the fingers because they're so thin. I'm trying to add volume in like 3 sections because we have our 1, 2, 3 sections on our fingers. And then we also have these bumps right here. Not not too worried about making the inside of the hand look really good because you're just not going to see that. That already looks a bit better. That is my coffee maker saying that it's hot. I know, coffee. All right. I'm just gonna like lightly curl her fingers. Okay, let's get these bending. So I recommend using a masking tool for this with a loop, just because it just makes it easier to grab exactly what you need. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep them front facing like that. I'm probably gonna bend all of it. So let's get the first bend. And for this one, I will do all of the fingers. Okay. Hey, Bruno's here. Hello. Give this a light bend. Okay. And then now I'll grab each, oops. Come on, it's auto-saving, so whenever it's auto-saving, it tends to like glitch a little bit. Not really glitch, it's just being slow. Okay, I'll make sure I don't bend these too much because if I bend them way too much and there's an overhang and you can't really support something that's that close to her chest, it'd be kind of a mess. Okay, how does my pinky bend? Like, so this one and then like the tip of it, okay. Grace says, what's up? Just arrived from a D&D session. That sounds fun. I want to play D&D. I think I have my next session, like, in a couple days. I should really know. But yeah, nothing super exciting. Just posing hands. My least favorite thing. But it adds so much to the model, and I really haven't spent time to do this for a model for a very long time. So I figured this would be a good time to do that again. All right, gonna go over with the inflate tool, just a little bit. Not worried about the inside of the hand looking like anything real, because no one's gonna see that. All right, let's zoom out, see how this looked in total. Look at that, one pinky is going the wrong way. But what happened? How did this get mirrored? There we go. I'm like, ZBrush, we did not agree on that. Okay, I need to fix that one wonky pinky that was just like, whoop, where is it going? That's so weird, the whole thing got mirrored. I must have clicked that at some point by accident. That's okay, it's an easy fix. It's still funny. Okay. Xander says I want to play D&D with you. We can be elf friends. I don't have time to just play D&D sessions with everyone. Sorry. Bruce says, I believe so. Seems a bit painful to do. I play Kenku Ranger Rogue and joined the Kenku mimicry thing. Yeah, that seems like it'd be a ton of fun in a campaign. I think when I first made my character, I didn't even know Kenku were like a thing because I just started playing D&D. Where is my move topological brush? There it is. Okay. And then I'm gonna just add a little bit of texture. her knuckles, and I feel like that just makes it look so much better than before. Her hands were just like, here, I'm gonna save first, because if I accidentally save this, it'll be very sad. This will look like before. It's just like really weird, stiff finger hand, just looks weird. That also looks weird from that angle. I'm working on it. And this weird bent angle here, just because it's hidden in the sleeve, so I just don't have it perfect, like modeled correctly. Something that I recommend if you're gonna sculpt hands and do a good job is to detail each finger individually. I didn't for this one. I'm already kind of regretting it because it ends up making them look really unnatural. I was bending them all together, in other words, is what I'm trying to say. Don't do that. Let me just round that out, even though you don't see it. I like the idea of her almost like grabbing her braid. $50 patron to get play D&D with that. Okay, there we go. You auto-corrected it. I was like, what? Nah, I'm not gonna make you pay to be friends with me. All right, let's kind of bend this. I'm just gonna turn my music down a little bit. The song's a little bit louder. I just want like really quiet in the background. I think partly why this looks so weird is because none of her fingers are touching each other. Again, hands just look weird. And our hands do naturally kind of curl towards each other. That looks a bit better. Oops. My model's like floating away from me. Stop that. Okay. Just gonna tilt this over to get that natural curve towards each other, making sure that nothing else is masked. Otherwise, ends up looking really weird. Either way, I think these hands look really weird up close, which is fine. Just try and get the general gesture to look better. Let's see, I asked this before, but didn't hear your answer. Are you streaming tomorrow? Xander, this is the third time you've asked me. Yes. Sass intended. Okay. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, unless stated otherwise. Which I'll say that in the Discord and stuff too. Oops. I think that looks better. Back face mask, turning off this alpha. Turning this around. This weird gap here is from when I was bending some of the fingers. You just got here. Are you streaming tomorrow? Cool, because that's my birthday. Well then, happy birthday. I take back my somewhat jerk answer, but not by 100%. And good one, Terry. I'm not like so much trying to make this part look good because you can't even see it on the model. I'm just adding more volume there anyway because it'll make the hands less fragile. All right, and we have those skinny bones in our hands that come down. This usually I do for my monsters and stuff. I don't think this is gonna look super good on her. I'll just do like rough like that and smooth it out to get that general texture. I don't know if that's gonna look, it doesn't look bad. Maybe a little weirdly over detailed, but that's A-okay. Terry says she looks like she has ballet hands from the front now. Very nice. Yeah, from the front. The inside looks gross, but yeah, thank you. Much, much more gentle, and that's what I wanted. I also didn't intend for this. Looks like she's kind of like pinching her hair, and I like that. So I'm gonna move her hair. So that way it actually makes sense. Tomorrow I'll be an ancient old man. All at once. Just that's the day. That's the day of your transformation. Didn't you say you were like early 30s? Like, you're fine. I don't think you're really ancient until you hit like 65. I have not Dynameshed her hair yet. Let's see how this does. Up 30. Okay, this Dynameshed really well, actually, which I didn't expect. Dynamesh smells fear. You're like, okay, I need this to keep my details, please, because I didn't do this with proper subdivision levels because I forgot. Please don't ruin my model. It usually does, so I'm really, really glad it didn't. I don't know if I have proper polygroups in this. I did at some point. If I did, I can move. Oh, yep, I didn't. Oh, whatever. I can just Dynamesh her braids together. 30, not really 30s. Then you're fine. Ah, where is my model? I always love when like new like beginners that are modeling telling me like, oh, it's so hard to like get my model oriented right. You make it look so easy. And I'm like, watch my live streams. Half of them behind models like flying around and just like, please stop doing that. Dang, phone is hard to type on. Yeah, that's fair. I am terrible at texting. My goodness. Most of it looks like I'm texting really fast, but that's because I'm just hitting the backspace button every other like letter. And I'm that kind of person who texts with like perfect punctuation. I never got the whole text talk thing. I'm like, nope, if I'm gonna say something, it's gonna be right. There we go, that looks nice. Ah, don't crash. You're looking like you're going to. Good. Terry said, I spent the first 3 weeks trying to find my model. I promise I'm laughing with you, if you're laughing. But that's so funny and so honest. Like, I love it. I totally get it. I laugh because I've been there. My goodness. Terry said, I thought moving my head would help. Turns out it doesn't. Yeah, it's a good way to get real nauseous real fast. As I say, as I turn my head. Get my alpha back here. Just kind of add some like hair texture. Don't. Ah, I fucking knew it. That's okay, I just saved. There we go. Didn't really lose anything because I just saved. I knew, I sensed it. There we go. Looks nice. Oh, her hair isn't even Dynameshed. It's dumb. Oh, and it does have polygroups. You know what? That was a good crash actually, because that prevented me from losing my groups. So if you have polygroups like this, you want to keep them and you Dynamesh it, just make sure you click groups and it'll keep them. I think that should be the default. I don't know why it isn't. Meh. All right, now I still have all my groups. Oh my Lord, what just happened? This is the before, this is the after. The hell did it do? Why? Like, okay, let's figure it out. Ah, I see, because there is a polygroup in there that's looking like that, like nonsense. Okay, let's see if we can fix this. What we're gonna do is I'm going to mask my braid. Or why do I even want polygroups? I don't even care. Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna just do this without polygroups. But if I wanted to fix that, I could just split the pieces that I want into different objects and then Dynamesh the main part of the hair without any polygroups, and it wouldn't have done that. I still don't know why it did that to that extent. Dynamesh tries to close holes, which is cool, but there wasn't any holes there. So obviously something there thought it was a hole. So it just chaos. I'm trying to smooth this area out right here because it's a little rough. That's one of the spots where joints, if you will, where I posed the hair. I try to avoid any like straight lines like this when I have hair that's posed in the wind. It does look a little unnatural right there, which is okay because it looks really, really good everywhere else. Looks really nice. I like. I might Boolean the head to the rest of the body. And if I do that, I don't want this seam to show. So I'm just gonna hide it right now. When you Boolean pieces together, instead of merging them, the seams still stay. But as long as you hide them, you can have horrible topology, not worry about it, and water type models. Just woo. I'm just lowering that piece right there because there was a gap between her neck and this neck piece thing that I made, and I don't want any holes in my model. All right, her hand looks so much better and just more gentle in general. The only issue being that it's not in the right place. I don't need to fix her weird broken elbow because you can't even see it, but it just bothers me. So let's go ahead and turn this down. Oh no, I have it posed on her hair though. Or I guess not. Oh, I do. It's between those two fingers instead of her thumb. I think I want between her thumb anyway. So that's before, that's after. That's a better pose. And then now let me move her gown around it. No ZBrush. It's like, you want me to spin your model upside down? I'm like, yeah, I don't actually. I'm good. That's her weird elbow sticking out. Stuck that away. Gonna have this laying on her hand. There we go. I'm a long way from understanding topology yet. I get it, it's useful in video games, that Dynamesh can ruin it, but beyond that, no clue. The best way I can explain it is that loops. Like good topology around the face, for example, it's like for animating. So you'll have like a loop around the lips, a loops around the nose, loops around the eyes. And it's because these circles are easier to handle than like a perfect grid. It's more like my eye, for example, like when I squint my eye, it compresses. And it's a lot easier to have like an oval squishing that like matches the eye than like a bunch of grid points, if that makes any sense. So loops are super common to have like good topology, like in the face, for example. For the most part, I don't know a ton about it either because I don't care or really use it. But it all has to do with, again, the motion I mentioned there, because it's easier to animate. That's about it. If you're not animating it, it does not matter for what you are doing. It will make it easier if you have, like, for instance, like low poly count, but that's not topology. Like my models, the actual polygons aren't laid out nicely. Here, let me give you a better example. So this is her hair, and it has terrible topology. I do this. I mean, it does. It just doesn't matter. So I'm trying to zoom in, just taking forever because there's so many. Wow, this is so much harder than I thought it was going to be to zoom in on her hair. There we go. Ovals, not squares. Got it. But yeah, it makes sense, I think. So here we go. Like, see how there's like these little, like, diamonds that happen sometimes? I do have triangles in there as well. It just doesn't read super well for a program. So I will actually pull it up. Let's see if I can just Google it really quick. Good topology face. And that has so many polygons, right? So you don't really want that. This is a cute example. So yeah, if you look at like this face, for example, see how like there's like these really nice loops around her face and stuff? Here we go. That's an example of very like good topology. I don't have like any triangles. Nothing is pinching on itself weird. These points around the ears are probably the biggest tell that might be an issue. But yeah, this looks way, way different and just so much like smoother than the hair I just showed you, for example. Let's see if I find a really good example of good versus bad since that came up quickly. Here we go, perfect. So here's like really nice loops and stuff, that's good. But these lines all cross over and get really weird. That's a very good example of bad. Is that a good example? Yeah, it's a pretty good example too. So yeah, generally speaking, it's just, if it looks organized and clean, it's because it is. I know you didn't ask for like a full explanation. I was just kind of like, there you go. It doesn't have to be ovals, but for the face, for example, that works really nicely. It can also look like a really nice grid. Really just depends. Depends on how the piece is going to move. Okay, and you get those by how you use brush strokes? No, they're actually separate things. So you get those, most people will manually do their topology. Like you can go to your B brush palette. Let's see if I probably deleted this stupid brush. I'm mad at myself if I did. Topology, here we go. So I can like literally draw it out. So here we go. Boom. And now I can click on this and I can extract that as its own piece and it will have the exact topology that I drew. So that's kind of an example of that. This isn't the way you retopologize a model, but that's just an example of like you can manually create it, and that's why people complain about having to retopo or retopologize their models, because it's very tedious and it's not the most fun thing to do. Some people find it very relaxing. I wouldn't know because I've never done it because I don't need to. It just looks tedious and pointless. It's not going to make your model look any better. Like a terrible topology versus great, you're not going to see a difference unless you're animating it. It might make it easier to sculpt some things. Like something that I've noticed is that if you have really bad topology, like where like there's like those triangles, for example, and you try and smooth them out, like for instance, I'll get like a buildup like a points like at the nose, for example, I will try and smooth it out. Instead of her nose smoothing away, it will like stay a little triangle and like, so it can be an issue sometimes, but generally it's fine. He says, I see. Those are really good questions. I like that you don't pretend to understand things. That's such a pet peeve of mine. I saw it like on the Facebook page the other day. Someone was asking me during my lessons, and the other person just like, oh yes, good topology, this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, you're talking out of your ass and you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Same with people talking about like resin and how toxic it is or how not toxic it is. I'm just like, oh my God. Guys, no, just because you read an article from an unreputable source doesn't mean that it's true. I think that's what I said I responded to that guy yesterday. I even mentioned, like, don't even believe me. Go find the information yourself. Unless someone can somehow prove they're a chemist, then listen to them, I guess. I guess that's the end of my rant. I didn't realize I was talking about that so passionately until I stopped talking and I was like, oh. There we go. Her hair is like a lot better textured now and just looks nicer in general. It's not like super well detailed. If I was gonna do that, I would, whatchamacallit, use either a brush or go through with DM Standard. I did not. So I'm posting on my Facebook page. I'm guaranteed they're asking where the rewards are. Oh no, hi Mia, I'm just supporting you. I'm blowing up your work. You're very talented. Aw, thank you, Shane. I will message you later because you're probably not watching this live stream. I'm sorry, I assume you were just asking for your rewards like a doofus. I'm only mean to people when they're like brand new patrons. If they're new to Patreon, it's fine. But if they're like, they've done Patreon before, I'm like, you know where to find your reward. Look at my post. All right. Let's look at this hand. It's kind of close to a fist. So I'm thinking if it's worth it to duplicate it and mirror it. And then, no, I won't do that. I just don't want to pose the fist. I'm so bad at it. We could practice. My issue, or one of my issues, is that, let's split her hand, is that's really hard to like bend. I forgot, like, how do I hold things? Like, so she's standing and she has her staff, but it's kind of tilted in front of her. I would probably bend my elbow up. If I'm ever grabbing something that's like below my elbow, I guess I have my thumb down. But then the staff would be like this, like that low. Like here's her and here's the staff. It'd be like, ah. This is such an unnatural way to grab something. I can rotate her hand because our arms do that. And here, I'm gonna figure this out. Arms are so complicated, I swear. Here, let me get that mask lasso. Woo. Split that. Also, I need to Dynamesh this. There we go. Okay, we're gonna Dynamesh this. Yeah. Put this here. Spin. No, not like that. Get over there. Spin. There we go. This shouldn't be too bad. I'm just being dramatic. What am I not? Okay. This looks like it's not gonna be that bad to pose around this staff, but I swear to God, it's always so hard. Derek says BRB. Later. Okay. How do I want to get this? All right. So I'm gonna solo this so I can see just the arm, and then keeping this pivot point here. And then I might even just like hide the sleeve because right now it's making my life more complicated. Otherwise, I'll probably try and like bend around. How does that looks weird. Anyway, bend around the sleeve, and I don't want to do that. I can move the sleeve around her after the fact much more easily. Okay. That's good. And I can just move her wrist, right? I don't want to shorten her arm too much. But I can cheat a little bit to make this fit. Only a little bit. Okay. Let's mask this and let's see how much I can bend her wrist. I know like we can bend this way a lot, but we can't bend towards our thumb like at all, which is what I would be doing right now. So that's not gonna work. But I can bend her whole arm up and then bend her hand down. That's possible. That's a real thing. I can also go to the staff and move it away from her a little more. I have the dress like swooshing around it really nice, so I don't want to move the staff too much. Let's see, because it'll bend like that's not that. That's like as far as she can go up, and that looks really uncomfortable. But bending down is very possible. You know, I have a fist. Let's see if I can import it and if it'll actually look nice with this model. I think it's like a a dude's fist though, so it's really bulky. So it might not look very nice. But this is also a really small part of the model, so I can probably get away with it. Oops. It's so little. Let's like drag it to her other hand as like a reference really quick. Just gonna like loosely line these up to make sure they're like the same size-ish. That looks like the same size-ish. Okay. All right, because your thumbs are towards the inside of you, so that is correct. Oops, nope. Now let's get this over there. All right. Let's rotate this up and let's see how I can get this looking good. Probably move the staff away from her a tad. And then if I need to shorten her arm, I can just bend her elbow out like this. That way I'm not like squeezing her arm and making it way too small. Though honestly, I don't think anyone's gonna notice if I do that. Actually not too bad. I'm surprised. This is gonna work. I'm relieved. I'm not worried about fitting the sleeve to her after the fact. So I really don't need this to line up that well. The only thing it's gonna show is this. So this, her pinky needs to be brought out more. Yeah, doesn't that look scary? Yeah, this is the part that no one looks at, so I didn't make it look super good. So it needs to be tilted like that. Yeah, I didn't realize I had it like up and down from this angle, which makes it pretty unnatural looking. To lower that. And I can move her dress, so that's fine. I didn't want to, but it's not a big deal. See how weirdly long that is? Like, I don't like how that looks. I need to sculpt a new fist at some point. That is supposed to be way shorter. Okay. That's probably good enough, honestly. None of this is gonna be showing. Where is her sleeve? There it is. I was like, I lost it. And that would tuck behind. All right. Gonna make this as long as I can get away with. Showing as little of her weird little cursed fist as I can. This looks so weird because the pinky is like way too long because I moved it without paying attention. See, that looks way better already. I'm gonna sculpt some good fists at some point. Today is just not that day. Kind of a guideline. Because your pinky is obviously not as long as your other fingers. Oh my goodness, this looks stupid. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just move it over. And you're just not gonna see that because I don't want to sculpt that right now. It gets the idea across, and that's all I'm trying to do. Trying to see, yeah, there we go. Because having this curve around will look really nice. Oops, I have my my focal shift really high. That looks really bad. I really don't like this fist. I don't know. I mean, it's just not sculpted right. So, I mean, there's that. I imported this from something from before, thinking that this would just work out fine. I really don't like how that looks. I kept saying, like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But now that I'm really looking at it, I'm like, no, I can do better than that. Delete. Sad. Yeah, that fist that I saved, I'm gonna fix that. Because it wasn't even like usable. My thought was I'm gonna use that as a base to like make something that doesn't suck. And I'm like, no, it just sucked. I am gonna work on this fist another time though, just because I don't want to. I'm gonna have to sculpt it from scratch, which is fine. But I don't want to do that right now. It also looks really weird, like perspective turned off. I'm just putting these back to where they were. So that's where that was. And then let's see where this was. Because I don't want these to get too deformed just because I'm trying to figure this out. All right, this will definitely need to be moved over a bit. There we go. That's kind of like a placeholder for right now. This piece, even though it's hidden, it's important to keep because they'll make that part of the sleeve solid when it's all Dynameshed together. Got a lot of work on this done, even though the hand thing was like a disaster. Bruce is gonna leave. Have a good rest of the day, Mia and Chet. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. All right. So the only thing left to do at this point is that fist. Or at least that's where I want to get this to before I stop working on this one. Looks good. That looks much better than it did before. Oh yeah, these little belts. I actually didn't adjust these yet. So I will do that, and then I'll probably move on and work on the tabaxi, which I'm pretty sure I need to work on the fist for that one too. This is a reoccurring issue. I love the Gizmo Vision, just like hanging out. Pops an emoji every now and then. I dig it. Because the corset is so tight to her, it's a little harder to tuck these under than I expected. I thought about laying them on top instead, but the only issue with that is that it makes it look really like unnatural. I'm on call at work eating dinner. I'm learning, it's fun. I'm glad. I'm sorry that means that you were watching that disaster of a hand thing. I think it's important to show like me sucking on camera too. Because, like, when you watch someone else do something like, oh, like it's obvious, like, hey, like, just sculpt it from scratch. Because obviously I can sculpt a face and all these other things that are just as elaborate. But, like, you'll get stuck where you're like, you know what? This might be a little bit easier. And you'll get, like, fixated on it. Just do it the quote-unquote hard way first. And you, like, will always end up saving yourself more time. And learning things the way you're actually supposed to, too. I'm getting a lot better with that. Like, for instance, when I was posing my tabaxi, that was so much faster, other than me forgetting. Anyway, that was so much faster because I wasn't nitpicking constantly with the pose, and I was just doing the touch-up at the very, very end. It's stuff like that, where you get, like, this perfectionist mode. Yeah, totally. Because all artists have bad habits, and if you can learn from the good habits, of course, that's good. But if you can figure out what they're doing wrong, then you can really learn a lot. And I do plenty of things that can improve upon. I think it's all fun. That's why I have some artists that I enjoy their work, but they'll live stream sometimes, and like literally the entire live stream, the model is done. Like it's 100% done, pretty much. And they're just spinning around this perfect model, adjusting like stitches, you know? And I'm just like, okay, why don't you ever like live stream you actually making the model? I think that'd be so much more helpful. And you know, they had hard parts they had to work through for the model. And I think people could really learn from that. But it seems like a lot of people don't show that. So I want to get to the point where I'm even better so people can see the whole process. Obviously, I'm not quite there yet, but I will be later. Terry says, are you just going through everything with Inflate right now? Pretty much. I'm just making sure things overlap the way that they're supposed to. Which is harder than it sounds. Like right here, there's this gap. And I'm trying to fill it. Okay, the belts are totally in the way for this. This belt is making it so I can't see anything. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this is my least favorite part of modeling, but I think it's important to show. Like, why can't I get that poly group? I should be able to inflate that, but it's not letting me. I want this piece. See, like my cursor is right here and it's grabbing this. I don't know why. It's driving me nuts. No, ZBrush. Fine. We're going to do, if you want to grab that, that's fine. I'm going to mask that area off so you can't grab it. Oh, you're going to grab what's next to it. Wow, why does it want to grab this one spot? Like at first it was funny. And now I'm like, this is getting stupid. There we go. Kind of. Okay, this isn't going to work. I don't know why. It's just being dumb. Okay, can I grab this at all? Yes, it is a real thing. That's so weird that's doing that. I'll just do this instead, where I lower this part and then just tuck the tabard back under. It's not what I wanted to do, but it's not giving me other options. It's such a small detail. Whatever. I got doing what I wanted it to. All right, making sure that these belts are actually laying on her dress. Yeah, getting things to overlap in ZBrush is probably the hardest thing, or to not overlap but interact the way they're supposed to. I really wish there was like a feature that would prevent meshes from intersecting. There is not. I mean, I guess I could try and mask it, or I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. I'm sure there was a solution out there. I tried to Google it, but it was useless. I'm sure if you guys have come across this, but if you try and Google things regarding ZBrush, like for problem solving, it's a nightmare. It seems like the whole world has the same problems with ZBrush and everyone just talks about it and there's no solutions anywhere. I'm like, okay, I'm glad we can identify the problem, but what can we do about it? And something's just hard to describe. Like the first time I mesh, now I know it's called shattering. I don't know what to call it. I'm like, my mesh has 1,000 holes in it. What do I do? It's looking better. I'm really worried about these belts not printing, honestly. Let's see if I can Q-mesh these, the inside of it. Because if I can, I'm not gonna be nearly as worried because that means I know it's connected to the model. Let's see, island. Okay, so that worked. I think. No, it did not. Okay. What is it doing? I can't even tell. It's working super slow. So there was a Pixel live stream today. It was pretty good. Ooh, I will definitely check that out. You know, this is gonna sound super snotty, especially because I've been working slow today. But like some of those live streams, I'm really surprised by. Like these are professional artists and like they'll work for 2 hours and like get nothing done. I don't know. It just seems really weird to me. And I'm aware of how snotty that sounds, and I don't really mean it like that. Here we go. This is what I wanted. Ah, this is a relief. Now I'm not worried about this laying on the body nearly as much because it is. Lots of stuff way too advanced for me. We'll see if I understand any of it, and then I can try and relay it back to you. Yay! So I'm doing this because I really want to make sure that these belts are thick enough. And these, like that doesn't look good, obviously, but on a 3D print, it's totally fine. And now I know these are going to print because I was really worried about this being filled with holes and that kind of stuff. And that would be a major bummer. So Especially because I spent so much damn time on these belts. I'm excited with the live stream you mentioned, though. I always poke through those and see if I can learn anything from them. So this model has a lot of small problems with it, but overall, obviously, she looks beautiful. I'm really happy how this turned out. Every now and again, when you work on all the small problems with a model, it can be a little disheartening because you're just like, there's so many small issues with it. But it's always good to zoom out, look at the whole thing, and it's like, oh, okay, this actually looks awesome. This is this dumb belt that I tried to delete before, and ZBrush had like a panic attack. So let's see if I can delete it now without the program crashing. Excuse me. Ha, and it worked just fine. Okay. So the only thing left to do is to deal with that dumb, her wrist. All right, I'm gonna leave this be and then pull up the other model and work on that. This one looks so good. I'm really happy with this. Okay. What part of this do I want to work on? Just double checking, making sure this body looks good and that it is all Dynamesh together. So this is the before at some point. I think it's before. Yeah. That's the after. So those foot wrappings came out really good. I'm not seeing any holes in them. I do see a little gap right here, so I'll fill that up and Dynamesh this. Terry says it's frustrating when you're learning too. I mean, the unexpected weird stuff ZBrush does. It's easy to think you're doing something wrong, which is the program acting wonky. That's so, so true. And that I had a really hard time with when I first started too. I was just like, well, I'm not learning anything. And of course I was, you know, but it's easy to blame yourself with it. Don't get me wrong, 99.99% of the time it's me. No, I totally get you. I screw up constantly. But for that 0.0001% of the time where it's not you, and you're just like, what am I doing wrong? It can be really frustrating. All right. But of course, always give yourself a break because this is such a cool freaking thing to learn and most people never do because, you know, it's hard as hell and can be very frustrating. Okay, that looks good. So I'm just going through and just Dynameshing all these pieces to make sure they're watertight. I also want to make sure that these aren't so far off of her body. It might have to be. I can tell it's saving right now, so I wasn't going to touch it, because if I do, that's a very good way to make it crash. It hates that. There we go, it looks a bit nicer. So obviously it's like clipping right there and it looks weird up close, but that's a small detail that I'm not concerned about. I also want these to be a little torn up, so that's why I don't mind if they're a little rough looking. I'll do pretty much the same thing to these. I think it makes them look really cool. How's your game going, honey?
Good.
Very good. This is definitely not a very like impressive live stream. I am getting like, it's just so slow. Just going through and fixing a bunch of tiny problems.
With all the live streams you do, there's bound to be at least one where it's like this.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to live stream today. I just thought it'd be fun to show the process. I imported a fist that I had like loosely made before and it looked terrible. Oh my god, I spent a bunch of time on it and I was like, this looks so bad. I'm gonna sculpt one properly from scratch. So after the live stream, I'm going to like look at a bunch of references and finally make like one fist that I can use all the time.
Yeah.
It's time. It's definitely time. I gave these models so many tiny details. So like there's a lot to fix. Like I have like the darts for the tabaxi on her arms, and like obviously the blades are like pointed away from her, so you need to make sure it's laying on her body.
Yeah.
It's so many little things. Here we go. So I'm going to slowly build up this model and Dynameshing pieces together. But looking at it really carefully to make sure each time that I Dynamesh and combine these pieces, I'm not losing any resolution. This piece I'm kind of worried about because it's so far off of her. So this is one of those pieces that if I can, I would like to use a Z modeler brush on the inside. However, I'm looking at this and I forgot that I made this super high poly. So I don't know if that gives Z modeler a heart attack. Probably. So instead, what I'll do is I will mask it and I will just drag it down. Again, does that look pretty? No, but that's not the point. I just want to make sure that I don't have any of these like really like gaps in my model essentially. Oops. Oh, I don't know what's happening. I was trying to Dynamesh this. I didn't want that. Undo. And when I have that all extruded like that, it makes it really easy for me to line up and hide that, because obviously I don't want that showing. So that's super effective for when you merge it all. I think so. Yeah, I hope so. So this piece I have up just because I thought it looked cool, but there's no like logical reason for that to be like that. So I'm gonna just move it where it's supposed to be. Otherwise it's gonna look weird. If I go back to mask by polygroups, this really rough edge, I can just go through and smooth it out. Or not. Or it's not gonna smooth at all. Why is this not interacting with my brush at all? Is it masked? No. Probably because the polygons are so like stretched and weird looking. There we go. Before, after, now it should smooth. Yes. So I won't have that really weird harsh border or anything. I can just go ahead and smooth that out. Again, such a small detail that you're not going to see on a print, but it's important to take care of it anyway. My meshes tend to get really overworked, and that's what I've been working on recently. It's like the least or less amount, just manipulate it as little as possible. There we go, that's what I'm trying to say. Because each time that you bend it and move it around, it's really like deforming it. So that's what it looks like now, and then before I had it up a lot. And I think that looks cool, but it doesn't make any sense. This does look better actually, because it fits her body. I do want this to have some motion to it. Maybe I'll have it go this way instead. It doesn't seem to want to move the other way. Oh, my move brush is 100%. I was gonna say, I'm like, why is this moving so aggressively? So I'm going to turn on transform and not solo, but transparency, because I had a feeling that this hood was really not anywhere close to her head. Moving that in a bit will allow me to keep this poncho a little closer to her and showing the pose a bit better. Because I wanted this to be a little tighter around her neck. So I'm pretty efficient and really quick at like creating characters and in the T pose, but as soon as it comes to posing and then like fixing parts of the mesh, I'm still really slow at, and that's probably where I have the most time to reduce or make more efficient. Just being aware of it goes a long way, because every time I'm working on this, I'm constantly like, what could I have done to make this more painless? It seems obvious, but I feel like some artists forget to like always try to improve, always try to find things to do things better and learn from others. That's all super helpful. Been printing some of your models lately. I find them fantastic. Also, Adara loved painting the supportless priestess. That's so cool. It makes me so happy. I'm glad that she liked it. Thank you very much. Stuff like that always makes my day. I saw someone's granddaughter had painted one of the horses that I did, and I thought it was just the coolest freaking thing. It's exactly why I do this and why I like my models being free too, because then like even more people can enjoy them and use them and all that good stuff. I always love you guys chatting in the chat. Everyone's always so friendly. That looks much better. Some folds in it. But yeah, I always wait to put folds in it until it's actually posed. Otherwise, I don't know where to put them. Speaking of, let's get some creases in her pants as well. Xan, take that back. I'm never friendly. Yeah, you're kind of the worst. No, I'm kidding. It's always like those last few details that you add to a model that really make it look good. So much edge. Oh yeah. All right, that's looking better. Some color back on there. I think I'd like to add like a really wrinkled edge. Oh sweet, they're different polygroups too. Perfect. I know exactly how to do this then. There we go. And now I can go in with my fabric brushes here and just let this do it for me. That's gonna paint really nice too. So that way it kind of looks like it's rolled up. Sweet. All right, I could probably merge that to her body actually. Her pants are done. Sweet. And see how that's all solid now? That's like the magic of Dynamesh. That wasn't like that before. Sweet. Making progress. This one's a lot less painless than my elf. The elf I was working on, I don't know, like things were just not lining up. All right, let's remove this. I know her hood is all weird, so I will tuck that in. All right, I really want to make sure that this doesn't have any issues either. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see if that poly group goes through all the way or not. Oh, it doesn't. Well, that's nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mask it, the parts that you can't see, and I'm going to pretty much make these touch her head. Obviously a real hood wouldn't do that, wouldn't be that weirdly thick. But in this case, I really, really want to make sure that there's no hole between her hood and her head, because it will print very poorly. And by poorly, I mean not at all. There'll just be a big hole. There we go. But it still has like a thin edge right here, so it looks pretty nice. I am gonna go back through and do this one more time, but masking this area because I don't want it to be shown that much of how thick I'm making it in the back. It's meant to be a hidden thing because it's more of a functional solution. It has nothing to do with making it look good. All right, Dynamesh that together. So that's before and after. So I don't have any of my poly groups anymore. And this looks all weird. That's the point. So there shouldn't be a hole when this prints. And if there is, I'm gonna be mad. That's exactly what I'm trying to prevent. Let's see, did I add any accidentally? No, it's like I'm all good. An itch in my ear. There you go. Okay. Let's add some creases to this. I like to do this without the paint on, just because it makes it a bit easier to tell how the creases are falling. Let's get rid of that initial one. There we go, that looks nice. Let's do it again, but a little bit stronger intensity. Okay, so it's doing that. It's deforming the bottom of it a little too much. So I will go ahead. Oh, no polygroups, please. I don't know what that was. That looks good. And then this will make this look really nice. Everything is coming together very nicely on this one. It's funny because it looks exactly the same as when I started, pretty much. Minus some like extra fabric detail. This is all just like preparing for 3D printing stuff. All right, let's remove this and everything else. I think I can merge the vest and stuff to her now. I don't know if this is laying on her or not. As long as I have all of these like gaps closed, this will do what I want it to. So I'll actually turn transparency off because it's making that harder to tell. Just making sure everything falls where it's supposed to, and if I don't have any weird overlaps. Looks good to me. Go ahead and save this. Oops. And let's see how this goes. I merge it together. Looks like this did a pretty good job. Just gonna paint up any areas that had a problem. That gap is a little weird. It's just from the undershirt. That's really weird. Didn't like that. That's quite the glitch. All right. Let's see what happened there. Yeah, so this is the before. That's the after. I don't know why I like created this whole new piece. So let me just like move this back. I had a feeling there'd be a problem because I didn't add thickness to that piece. So it's gonna be all confused. Let's try this again. Now that I know there's a problem there, I'm gonna like focus on this area. Yeah, it's creating a new piece. I don't know why. Just gonna remove it. It's like shows up sometimes. What the hell is that? It's showing up based on which direction the normals are showing. So if there was a piece there that I just couldn't see, if I go to display properties and click double, I'd be able to see it, but I think I got all of it, so there's no need to do that. And I don't care if there's like a sleeve on one side, not the other. It looks edgy, which is like the whole point of this character. There we go. That went much better. I also didn't get any weird deformations there this time either. So the whole thing just worked better. Sweet. It's all good in my book. Looks like this is completely solid too. It might not be there, so let's go ahead and inflate that because I don't want any gaps. And then that should stitch it all together. Very nice. That's all one piece now. All right, most of the pieces are really coming together now. This extra glove I'm going to delete before I forget. Oh, okay. Or you can crash. That's cool. It was starting to autosave and I double clicked on it, so it made me very mad. No worry. Ah, my coffee's cold. I forgot about it. I'll probably be tuning off the live stream pretty soon to just keep working on different models and stuff, but with snacks. Cool. I just saved, so I didn't lose anything. There we go. It looks like I have a lot left to do, but overall, this is coming together really nicely. Those are all those weird pieces I split off on that sleeve that was being really weird. That was because I made a mistake in this model earlier on. If you'd watched the live stream where I was making this, I talk about it. If you do want to see that, that's actually an archive benefit for my $10 patrons. They have access to any live stream I have ever done. They have like 40 hours or something like that now. I live stream a lot. All right. see about merging these 3 pieces. Just see how it goes. Usually I just merge everything together and then Dynamesh once at the end, but I have like just a higher standard for the way that I do things now. So now I don't do that, and I make sure that I do it piece by piece and really check out every single piece of the mesh. I know that tends to work better. Wow, that's still messing that up. All right then. Not solo. Transparency. Just making sure the head fits in there the way I want it to. And there is a gap between the hood and the head. I don't know why it's doing it like that. Because I don't have, oh, I have back face mask on. That's why I was like, what? I don't have polygroups on. That's fine. Okay, I don't want that on. I don't mind that this part here is so thick because that'll be a really thin piece usually, and I definitely don't want that for a 3D print. But I want to make sure this lays on her head a little more naturally. I might make transparency part of my UI, because actually I've been using that a lot recently. I like this heart shape I ended up making. I think it looks really cute. It's such a thin piece, I can't have that just by itself. So I either need to extrude the back of it towards her face, or I need to get rid of it. There we go. It looks really silly in here, but that's fine. All right, it's coming together. These belts will be really easy. I guess one of the belts is already there. No. Where is this belt? Ah, they're one object. I was gonna say, I'm like, what? I'm not gonna Dynamesh that right now because that's not worth my time and it's gonna Dynamesh just fine. All right, all those little potions and stuff. Just checking them out, making sure there's not any like overhang issues. I'm gonna add little clasps and stuff. I'll probably do that now. See if I can do it easily. Sometimes I can just use clay buildup, just like this, and actually it's working out pretty nice. Every now and again I need to just make a separate piece, which is fine. It just takes a little longer. My favorite is when the mesh just works with me and I can do it like this. So I have a part of it, like this potion, that's like all hidden in weird should be its own poly group, so I should be able to just either remove it. Okay, no. Or move it forward. It's able to move that forward, no problem. This is a really cheap way of adding bands. It works fine. Just gonna kind of scrunch these up and make sure these are laying on the body. These might require tiny supports, but I think it's worth it because they're so cool looking. They are round though, so they might not. Okay. Back to adding some bands to these. Looks kind of messy. That's okay. More bands. I think everything has been secured to the belts. They're small details, but they're kind of fun to paint. Just makes it look better. Okay, the belt is kind of sucked in right there, so I'm gonna go with mask by polygroups and move this up. Not that, this. Or you know what, I might just move the vest down. That actually works fine too. As long as it doesn't pinch into her body too much and look weird, then it's fine. Let's just pull this edge out and work with it from there. There we go. That's better. My neighbor's doing it, or the kids that are yelling. Okay. Oh, I totally forgot that I've just been covering up chat. Oh, cool. Sorry, guys. So focused. Terry says, in and out, kids just won't go to bed tonight. That's looking great. Thank you. I forget that's a thing that kids like don't just go to bed. Because that would be too easy. That should be tighter in, but I don't want to have to redo it, so it's fine. Let's just move the vest over instead. All right, everything is taken care of except for the hands. Didn't let me save. Yes. There we go. Let's see if I can die mesh this all together. Yep, and it filled up really nicely. Before, after, didn't lose any resolution. And I can smooth out the low poly fingers. Okay. This is gonna be challenging. This is actually looking pretty good. I don't know why I couldn't do this with my elf. Probably because I was like, I'm just gonna import a fist and it'll be fine, and it wasn't fine. I think this is actually coming out pretty good. It's been a hot minute since I've actually posed fingers like this. I usually don't have to because I just do that bad fist and they're human. But this is the Tabaxi, so I really wanted the claws to stand out. I'm just like, wow, did this actually come out okay? Like, it looks like a really loose grip, but other than that, actually looks good. That's awesome. I do wish I was a little more careful with the pose of the sword, because it's kind of odd the way she's holding it. But if I just move this, that helps. And she's holding it a little low. I can just make the sword longer. Thank you, Terry. Because I was like, wow. After my like hand crisis with the elf, I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm really glad that this turned out, because I was like, oh, okay, I can't sculpt hands at all. Now I'm like, yeah, I can. So since I did it once, why should I have to do it twice? Let's see if I can merge this down and just reflect it. And the only issue that probably wouldn't work is if it... What was I going to say? I'm forgetting. Is if the sword position's too different. But I don't think it is. She's holding him pretty similarly. All right, that is correct. That is not the right one. I'm trying to group which ones go to which. There we go. So let me make this its own polygroup and this its own polygroup. And let me save, because I might regret this. And I can just open this up later in case it's a problem. And I can just merge these down, duplicate this, and mirror. And this should work, because she's holding him pretty similarly. That was a very nice confidence boost. My goodness. I do need to sculpt my own hands though. The time is here, because it looks better. Sorry, I'm glad I did it with this one. Let me just show the other two, and I can just line it up. Oh, that's hard to tell. Hey, hello. Just gonna cheat and line this up the best I can. And this is gonna work. Haha, I don't have to pose both hands, just one. Yay. Yeah, that looks mean. And my only complaint is that it looks like she's holding it pretty relaxed or loosely, and I want her to look a little more vicious, but it definitely doesn't take away from the print or the design at all. I was planning to stop the live stream pretty soon here, mainly because I was like, oh, okay, getting a little defeated, but this is turning out good. So now I'm re-energized, and I'll probably keep live streaming. Yay! The elf was such a disaster, guys. Why? Like, I know she looks beautiful, but there's so many small things. The way I designed her, I definitely regret. I need to extrude the belts more into her, because like that corset, it was like a mess. Because there's a bunch of different little pieces and stuff. So it's a bunch of like tiny overhangs, which will look fine on a resin printer, but if you do it on an FDM printer, it might not come out at all. I mean, a lot of people don't even print minis on their FDM printers anymore, but I try to show them some love still anyway. I'd be sad if I had an FDM printer and my designer just didn't design for it at all. So I don't want to do that. It crashed. Whatever, I can just open it up. Hey, Gizmo's still here too. Hey, Lil. All right, once I get this all merged together, I'll probably stand up and stretch for a bit, because it's been a hot minute. Okay, so which one of these is the right one? It's like a game. No, not that one. I said no, ZBrush, don't open it. I said no. we go. It's that one. Oh, it's would you like to see changes. That's why. What did I say? I said no. Okay. So I'll save this. And I'm probably going to delete my quick save files just because I don't need them. And I have a ton. Delete. Yes. Alrighty. Cool, cool, cool. Making me smile because it came out great. And the elbows don't even look stupid. I had a really hard time with elbows. Fun fact. Sweet. This actually came out really nice. Merge these last two pieces down. Solo this. And let's Dynamesh all this together. Oops, that's not Dynamesh. That's Dynamesh. In the meantime, I'm gonna grab my cute little sign from Canva. So I don't know if you guys have heard it before, but Canva, C-A-N-V-A, like Canvas, but with the S. It's really fun to make like cute little graphics in. This is where I made all my stuff in. I mean, actually, this is the only thing that's mine. None of this is mine. Snake break. I'll download this because at some point I should eat again. So I will have this. All right, how did this do? No. Looks good. I'm not seeing any major losses in resolution, and obviously those are just seams that can be patched up. Really looking at it closely. And then I'll do Control Z. When was this not? There we go. This is 14 million points right now. And this is Dynamesh. Before, after. So I'm losing some resolution on the gems. But I don't think anywhere else. Those gems aren't coming out anyway, so that's fine. Okay. I like it. I like it. Let's go ahead and smooth out these elbows. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna make it so I can see the chat again too. All right. Tom says, actually did a job for Canva. Research, keyword, oh my God, why can't I talk? Keyword research and SEO. What? That's so cool. Oh no. See how it's completely hollow? I didn't see that before. Sad. Yeah, marketing, search engine optimization. How freaking cool. I can probably fix it. That's exactly what I'm trying to prevent. Don't know how that still happened. Anger. What I can do is I can turn on back face mask, and if I'm lucky, I can just go in here and just like inflate it. Oh, it didn't work at all. Here we go. Wait, back face mask. It's not working at all. Wow. Back face mask, you're hurting my feelings. Blech. But yeah, essentially I'll go in here and I will inflate these issue areas. It's very tedious and annoying. And then I'll Dynamesh, and eventually Dynamesh gets the idea, and it will seal up these holes for me. Definitely kind of a bummer, because it's going to ruin the front of this too. How did this happen? I was so careful. Ugh. That's what I have to say about that. Okay, so that solution isn't going to work, so I will have a different solution I will show you guys. I honestly don't know how I made that mistake. I really don't do that anymore. I also really wish that I kept the polygroups for all this. Anger. I was feeling so good about this too, but now this one dumb mistake. See, design for 3D printing can be a giant pain in the butt. I don't think people understand that. that there's so many design constraints you have to think about. Because normally your arm wouldn't fill your glove 100% of the way, obviously. But in 3D print world, it needs to. That's kind of a bummer. You guys are going to see how I fix it and be like, that wasn't a big deal at all. I don't know why you were complaining. I just don't like having to do any unnecessary work. Especially when something I already know, like, that's a problem that happens. I'm trying to, like, fix this crease in her arm. Because it should overlap, so the inflate brush is working really well for this. Oh, that's wrong. Dramatic sigh. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys, when I'm working on, literally, I think this is the least fun part of modeling. I hate model preparation. It's the worst. Which is pretty much just cleaning up the pose, making sure it's all 3D printable. I don't think it's any fun. I think it sucks. If you ever have artists that you super enjoy and their prints have lots of problems, it's because they're not doing this step. And I understand why. It's not any fun. And if they don't have to do this step, that's because they know how to prevent problems better than I do. Congrats to them. That will be me soon. Sooner than later. Hopefully. This back face mask thing isn't doing what it's supposed to do at all right now, which is like very frustrating. Usually it does a really good job. The back face mask just means that it will affect one side of the model, or one side of the mesh, better said, which would fix my little gauntlet problem 100%, but it's not working. Alright, elbows look nice. Elbows look like elbows. Yep, that's nice. Alright, let's fix these dumb gauntlets. So this is what I'm gonna do. It's not like a pretty solution, but it works just fine. I'm just literally going to put an object in there and then have transparency on and then merge them together and it will fill that area. Again, it's not a pretty solution, but this is also a very easy solution. Oops. So I just have an overlap like this. So I can see where it's sticking out, and I just want to be as close to this shape as possible. It's okay if it's not perfect because Dynamesh is going to fix a lot of these issues. So overall, the fix is going to take about 5 minutes. It's not that big of a deal, but it makes me sad. Because it is unnecessary work. The worst kind of work. So yeah, don't do what I did. So now if I turn off transparency, you'll see there is an object in there. I'm going to pull it out to the cuffs, and that will help tell Dynamesh, hey, this is an area that I want sealed. Wow, her elbow looks broken from that angle. I mean, elbows aren't the most attractive things anyway, but I can do better than that. Okay, this object, I'm just gonna duplicate it in mirror because it should fit in this other one pretty nicely too. Yeah, I think this is the funniest thing. And you can do other operations, like you can go to, where is it? Geometry, I think it's modify topology, and yeah, close holes. This damn thing never works for me ever. So like, if it works for you, great. But for me, it never does. And it's supposed to close holes where you indicate. It doesn't. I think it's because it's not for what I'm trying to make it do, which is fine. I'm just mad because it says close holes. So I feel like it'd be so cool if it just solved my problem for me. Yeah, I feel like even though this wasn't an exciting live stream, because I'm not really creating anything, I'm just fixing meshes and stuff, it's a lot of problem solving. Is it the best solutions? Probably not. I'll probably have better solutions, and like by 6 months for sure, I'll have something figured out. It's usually about when I learn. Every 6 months, it seems like I have a radically different way of doing things and better at that. All right, let's go ahead and save this. I'm gonna merge these down, and when I Dynamesh them, I'll probably do something I'm expecting it to do, and it'll be interesting to show you guys. I'm expecting to see a bunch of like little wrinkles show up. It does that when a very thin mesh is combined. Terry says, those extra elbow accents you've added to other models does a great job of hiding that stuff too. Plus looks cool. Elbow pads, band, etc. Yeah, I had that all the time. All right, so this is before, this is after, and this is what I'm talking about. So this little issue here, it's a good sign overall because it means that it is fixing the problem. It means that it saw the issue and fixed it, so that's cool. Ah. Just want to paint that because I'm probably going to show this on the Kickstarter because I think it's fun. They have a couple painted renders and I want to make sure that the paint looks good. Yeah, I feel like that little bit helps. And then this, okay, I don't know what this is. What is happening? I don't like it. Don't do. There we go. Because this seam is going the wrong way. So I'm looking really carefully at like these bands right here. There should be some wrinkles here because the vest is fairly tight fitting. There we go. Are you using a Wacom Cintiq? Nope, I'm against it because I think they're way overpriced. I'm actually using a Yoga Lenovo, not the laptop, the giant desktop. It's a couple grand, but it is also a computer. The Wacom Cintiqs are just a display, and they're like $4 grand, and they're not worth it. They're just not worth it. It's like the Apple of tablets. If you want a really nice tablet, just get a Huion. They're fantastic, and they are literally half the price, and you're not losing or sacrificing anything for that either. And my biggest thing is like with Wacoms, I don't even understand, or Wacoms, whatever, they don't understand, is they have these like giant bezels all the way around it. Like they don't even look good, is my point. 'Cause I don't like bezels. If you go to my website, probably in the description somewhere, but it's M3DM and then prints like the word 3dprints.com. I have a My Equipment page under Contact Me, which shows a display tablet that I super recommend. It's like $400 or something. I can't remember how much it is because I don't use it anymore. But it's a fantastic display tablet that I really, really recommend. I just like using my giant desktop also as my, so like I have something in front of me and I can like push it up or pull it back down. It's really cool. I should do a video about it at some point. I will. Note to self. So I'm just filling these gaps in here as well. So when I Dynamesh them, they fill, because I don't want a big old overhang where the pants are at. I just look anywhere. I'm like, do I want to add supports there? No. Then fill it up. Terry says, oops, can't post links. I didn't know that in the chat. I don't know if that's a setting I have turned on, but if it is, I'll disable it. Okay, I just sold my Wacom Intuos A4 oversized today. I want something smaller. The Intuos is awesome. Isn't that little like non-display tablet? I'm pretty sure. I don't remember it being called, like having different versions or whatever, but I super like that. That's the only Wacom I recommend. I say Wacom, like it's probably Wacom. I don't know. Haven't heard it said out loud. Need to be a mod to post links. Ah, keeps the spammers away. That makes sense. Terry, I'm gonna make you a mod after this stream. Just because you're always here, and if someone's being an asshole, you can banish them. And I totally trust your discretion on that. And then you can post links. And to be clear, it doesn't mean it's your job to moderate. It just means you can do, if you want to post stuff like that, you can. Non-display, but the one I sold is huge. Gotcha. But yeah, non-display can be awesome. Especially if you don't mind the disconnect, like they're just as good. Terry says, haha, cool. Yep. Plot twist, you become the asshole. You spam my chat. Oh, wait, did I lose my paint? Oh, good, I didn't. Gizmo, let's see, Wacom, gotcha, or Wacom. Okay, Wacom. That makes sense. That sounds better than Wacom. I don't know why I'm saying that. Oh crap, then I'm screwed. I like my 15.6, and then I'm watching you on it right now. Very cool. Then XP Pen 15.6. Ah, XP Pen's awesome too. I like that brand a lot too. Wacom. Wacom. That sounds so much better. Why was I saying Wacom? Like whack-a-mole. My tablet's tiny, but I like it. No screen or anything. If it works, it works. I didn't necessarily see like an improvement in quality in my work or anything when I got better equipment. It was just more comfortable. I could work for longer periods of time. That's the biggest difference. But obviously, if you're not doing professionally for 8+ hours a day, you don't need it. Gosh, this model has so much detail on it. Jeez. Jeez. Took forever, but I'm really happy with it. Thank God it's almost done. Yes, moles. All right. Let me get this edge looking rough, because that's the whole point of having that undershirt show. Yeah, she was gonna be wearing like long sleeves, and then I just totally botched it, so this is what she ended up with, and I like it a lot. All right, so I'll probably buy a medium-sized one. Yeah, that's fair. Terry, I can't justify anything more expensive in the moment, and you get a lot better first. Honestly, that's a really good way of incentivizing yourself. That's what I kind of did for myself. I'd always find big expensive tablets, and I'm like, okay, I can buy it, but only once it doesn't suck. I have a text. Oh, that's so goofy. My dad's girlfriend sends me cat memes occasionally, and they're great. I say girlfriend, but they're pretty much married. They've been together forever. I had to recommend the Parblo stand after that one came with it, and XP Sencel. I tried it out. I think that's the one I used for a while. I like this turned out to be a heart. Oh, I think it's so cute. I wonder if anyone else is going to pick up on that. Thank God this thing is almost done. My goodness. I hate post-processing models. It's the worst. What happened to my paint? What? See, this happens. What happened in these like 2 seconds to where it's like, you know what? All the paint you did, I forgot about it. I'm like, no, ZBrush, give it to me. There it is. I didn't Dynamesh. Just upset it, I guess. Well then, I will make this edge of the sleeve rough again, and because it took like 2 seconds. Paint? Yes. I probably Dynameshed actually. I just forgot. There we go. It looks sharp. I love how aggressive she is. Yeah, me too. The only thing I haven't liked about doing these Kickstarter models is I'm just so much more self-critical on them. I don't know why. Like for Patreon, I just feel like it's more of like, y'all are my people. I know you guys. I recognize like at least 200 of you guys by name, which doesn't sound like a lot because there's more than 700 now, but I'm really proud of that. But on Kickstarter, it reaches so many more people that I don't know. And I don't know, I feel like there's just like a higher standard for myself. And I'm like, this needs to be the absolute best, which is funny because I want my models to be really awesome for my patrons too. And I do my best, but I don't feel pressure to do so. All right, let's flatten this. Not that way. Also not that way. There we go. Where do I just start to see it? So it's a negative value, okay. What does -1 do? Does a little bit before it's after. I usually never do it this way. I always do it. There we go. So I make sure it gets the tail too. And that way I know the claws are laying flat, and that's good because I don't want those to need supports because that would be silly. I'll go ahead and Dynamesh this all together. Yeah, she looks badass. Just because I'm feeling lucky, let's see if I can Dynamesh it all together. If I can't, if the head loses all its resolution, I'll just Boolean it, which is fine. I'm looking at the face. That's what usually just completely goes to shit when I try Dynamesh things. Yeah, they did. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but like, yeah, that looks blurry now. Yeah, nah. So look how, this is how it looked before. See how crisp that is? Also, just something I'm not super thrilled with. This trim came out kind of blurry. In fact, I think the whole model looks kind of blurry. That's just because I have really high standards. So I'm gonna grab these really quick and see if I like the look of clay polish on them. Did it do it? Yeah, it did. Yeah. So that I did like. So I'll probably go through and clay polish a few things. Yeah, there we go. It's giving me those edges that I want. totally minor, not really something that I need to do, but it makes me happier. It's recognizing my touch input instead of my pen. Go. This trim right here, it might look cool with clay polish. Nah, it looks fine. I'm gonna divide this entire model and see what happens. Cool, I'm at 27 million points. This is the before, this is the after. It looks exactly the same, but I might be able to kind of get some of that detail back using a morph target. And the reason I divided it first is because I wanted to make sure there's a lot of polygons to add detail to. Otherwise, it might not work very well. Let's see. Terry says, I'm on my phone, can't make out what menu clay polish is under. It's under geometry. Pretty sure. I will check after I do this really quick. So that's the before, that's the after. Looks way better. I don't know if it needed to. Yeah, clay polish is under geometry. So let me sharpen up this trim. Especially on the front. It just came out so much blurrier than it was supposed to. He says, cool, thanks. You are welcome. There we go. That looks better. Morph targets are my best friend. Just make sure you have a bunch of polygons. If you don't, or just like high resolution, because otherwise it comes out really pixelated when you try to exaggerate detail. That looks much better. It's such a small difference, but it makes me much happier. Oh shit, I wonder if this ruined all my paint. If it did, I'm just gonna undo it. Are these merged together? Oh yeah, huh? Oops. I meant to have the head separate when I changed the detail on the body, and now it's together. And if I split it, I'll have to redynamesh the body, which will remove the detail where it is. So I'm kind of like just trying to like troubleshoot in my head a way to get around that. Brush. You can do it. It has to deal with 30 million polygons right now, so it's pretty mad. It's probably gonna crash. Terry says, too bad Kat hasn't been able to make the streams lately. She stopped by Discord the other day and dropped a bunch of great info. Sounds like she's pretty busy. Yeah, I actually messaged her early January because I was worried about her. Just because I haven't heard from her. She's usually around a bunch. But yeah, no, she's been sick. So she's trying to get that all figured out. Hope she feels better soon. Yeah, this is a problem. Can I Dynamesh this? Yes, thank God. That was gonna be a problem otherwise. Yeah, I hope she feels better soon. But I was super happy to hear from her, that's for sure. Come on, grab the edge. There we go. Kept turning my model instead. All right, yeah, those details are gonna read so well on a mini. Ah, she's gonna look badass. Heck yeah. Terry says you'll use ZRemesher last to lower the poly count way down to keep detail, right? Not as ZRemesher, Decimation Master. Lost my pen poly paint. Why are you being like this? Squinting. I want to repaint it. Let's see. Right, it mixes up. Cool. Yeah, there's really, let's see, the actual word decimate means to like reduce or obliterate, I think. Let's find out. Decimate, kill, destroy, or remove a large percentage or part of. Decimation Master, you're killing polygons. So that might help you remember. I'm just gonna repaint the head really quick because I want it to be painted. And Zero Mesher I use to reduce polygons evenly throughout. Very good. You got it. Just very quickly adding some of this paint back on. I don't know if this is even visible, this part. That's okay. It's not. I think I did a better job painting your face that time, actually, so it worked out just fine. Yeah, it's way cooler, actually, so it worked out. Cool. All right, let's use a boolean, submerge these together, and see what happens. Sometimes it doesn't like doing that. Looking over at my boyfriend's game. Yep, it has a problem with something. Oh, there's plenty of non-manifold edges. There's for sure problems. Let's see, it made it anyway though. Just without the head, I guess. Oh, it just wouldn't do it at all. Okay. I guarantee it's the edges of this that doesn't like. Yeah, there's some parts right there that aren't connected to anything, so I know it doesn't like that. I'm having a hard time getting rid of them because there's so many polygons. It's just mad about these edges. It doesn't want to do the Boolean operation. All right. It probably still won't work because I have all kinds of funny stuff happening in here. So I will fix this too. Because I have to. I'm worried it's losing detail. Okay, it's not. It just threw me for a loop really quick. I was like, wait, don't you do anything stupid. Still mad about something. Select resulting boolean and click on show issues to display issues. See, where? I don't know where it says show issues. Oh, here we go. Oh, cool. This is helpful. Heck, how did I not know this was a thing before? Oh yeah, this is easy. Oh, yeah, these are easy. See, it's very small things that gets hung up on. These are the same things that like Mesh Mixer will fix. There we go. I might have created more problems by doing that. That's okay. So what's it mad about here? Hell if I know. Well, I smoothed it away. Now it doesn't care. Oh, no, yes it does. Okay, are you mad about it or not? What is the problem? What is this? I'm like, what is this? What is that? What do? These are such small problems. Wow, usually it's not this much of a butt. And yeah, like I figured, there's no problems with the head. There we go. Okay, so there's lots of problems on the feet. It's just because there's a bunch of little like holes areas. It's being so dumb. Just override these issues. They're not causing a problem. It looks like it updates live, maybe? That'd be cool. Like, as I get rid of the issues, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Oops, I don't want to Dynamesh when there's no paint on, because otherwise it destroys my paint. I just think it's funny, like one red dot will make it so ZBrush is like, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. I'm like, there's no problem, ZBrush. You need to chill. Okay. Oh, even the tips of the toes you're mad about. I guess I've just been lucky before. I've never had these problems with doing booleans. And I always sculpt this messy. Okay. That feet are taken care of finally. Now what's the problem? This one little piece. How about I just keep Dynameshing? That seems to be fixing problems. I can't even see where that problem is. Ah, I lied. I can see the issue. It's mad that there's a gap right there. Ooh, that was a new problem. Let's see. Funny how I'd care. I shouldn't hurt anything on a 2.5D drawing. I know, right? I can see for 3D printing, but yeah, mesh mixer. Yeah, it's being dumb. Because it wants to create a watertight mesh, which is great. That's what I want too. But these are not issues. Like, I really wish I could just override them and be like, no, do the Boolean mesh anyway. Usually it will. And they'll just tell me that there was errors, and I'll be like, whatever, I'll fix it in Mesh Mixer. Okay, Jesus. There you go, ZBrush. Here's your issue-free mesh, even though nothing was even an issue. Let's save, because this feels weird. I'm gonna say this is a backup too. I'm like, don't you mess up my file by being weird. It's just gonna have a problem with it again. I guarantee there's gonna be like, oh, what about this? And I was like, are you serious? I just grabbed this. That scared me. Okay, let's see. Oh, did it work? I don't know. I don't see it. Doesn't look like it did anything. Well, I didn't fix this mesh. I fixed this one. I fixed the one that you could see the issues on. Oh, it wasn't showing technically, so that's probably why nothing happened. Either way, I saw this issue right here that I just genuinely don't like. The music is so ominous now. It's fitting. I'm like, is it going to work? I don't know. All right, now that both are visible and I have Boolean mesh, live Boolean, there we go. Make Boolean mesh, let's see what it does. Yeah, now it's trying. It's because I didn't have the eyeball on, so it freaked out. I let that show issues. Like I missed that before. That would have saved me a lot of time. Looks like it worked. Here we go, we got one piece. All right, woohoo. This is a long process, but it happened finally. Jesus. I guarantee that the base on the bottom here isn't perfectly flat. So I had to go through and like fix tiny pieces. What is this? My goodness. So I didn't actually do anything? I don't know. Whoa, what is that? There we go. Now I'll clip this Yeah, woohoo! Yeah, I'm glad. That was an adventure that I didn't want to have, guys. Kind of glad it was recorded so you guys can see, like, I knew today was going to be some nonsense. Like, usually it doesn't take me nearly this long to get to this point, but whatever, it happens. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to have one being high res and one being decimated, and I can see the difference between the two, and it's always nice to have a backup of each. Decimated. Okay. So let's hide the other one. Z plugin, decimation master, pre-process current. Woo! My God. I'm going to get a model done today, guys. It's going to happen. Oh, guys. Hey, Ricky. Yeah, Ricky's asleep. I had a feeling. He's watching a movie. He got up super early today. I'm really proud of this model, though. Just waiting for it to post-process. I can look at it at the top here to see when it's done. Yep, took 1 minute. All right. Let's zoom in a bunch. Wireframe, and let's do like 400,000 points. That sounds reasonable. All right, so when we decimate it, it takes away the paint. Good to know. Terry, so at this point in the modeling process, say you want to swap weapons out. Are you way beyond that, or you can get to a point where you can just swap for a new subtool? Yeah, I'm pretty way beyond that. I could like cut off her arm and like put on a new arm with a weapon. All right, so this is the high res version. Here's the decimated version. So this version is 4.48 million points, and this version is 400,000 points. So 10%. And she looks fantastic. Obviously looks pretty pixelated up close. That's not a big deal. Oof, this wasn't a tough one. And the reason this model was so tough, this one and the Elven Sorceress, it's because I'm putting a lot of different assets on it. And belts specifically. Things with little overhangs, little weapons, all this kind of stuff. So there's just a lot of little things to consider for 3D printing. I'm looking at this now even, I'm just kind of like, it has an edge on it, nah. But again, once this is like this small, it's going to print just fine with no support on that part. Terry says, yeah, it makes sense. I still think of Fusion 360 Brain most of the time. That makes sense. So yeah, she'll be about this big, and God, she has so much detail on her though. This looks awesome, and this detail's going to stay too. Sometimes I have like a identity crisis. I'm like, am I getting any better? Yes. I can confidently say yes right now. All right, this model's done. Heck yeah. Pretty happy with that. Hey, Jared's here. A lot of great detail. Thank you. I had to fight this one to get this post-process for 3D printing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my document and click on actual. Actually, click on half. And this is how big my actual document is. So if I were to save a screenshot, it would have my model this small. So I always make sure I actually see my full canvas before exporting screenshots and that kind of stuff. There we go. We got that picture. Back to actual. So that'll be a really high res picture. I'm gonna save this again. And I don't know, I'm gonna work on the rest of the night. I might do something, but I'll probably do it not live. It's, hey, you pronounced it right. Gold star. What did I pronounce right? Jared? What the hell do people say? Jarrod. Garad. It's Jared. I mean, you're welcome, but like, I'm sorry if people can't pronounce your name. People can't pronounce my name either. They say Mia, like it's Mia, and they're like, Maya? I'm like, it's M-I-A. Maya's M-A-Y-A. Plus, I mean, look at me. Do I look Latina? I'm like as white as it gets. I've never met a white girl named Maya. Ever. Whatever. I get it for my last name. My last name, people never know how to say it, and that's fine. But my first name, I feel like it's really easy. Oh, funny story. My middle name is Kay. Like, not the letter K, but K-A-Y, like the jeweler. And so on, like, roll call and stuff, it's Mia K. Benzine. But there was a glitch, and so it had Mia with the letter K put together, so it's Miak. So I had this teacher who just insisted and just kept forgetting, kept calling me Miak, and it was the most annoying thing. That was like half of my high school experience, so there you go. Yeah, Jarrod or Garad. That's so funny. Yeah, Mia. I agree. Mia. Like, Jarrod. Oh, that's so funny, though. I'm sorry if I'm laughing at your pain, but people are so dumb. Anyway, I think I'm done with this one. Sorry if you just joined, Jared. I need some sugar. God, this live stream was only fun because you guys were here chatting. I hate doing this kind of post-processing work. Mainly because I screwed up a bunch. So, thanks for joining. I hope you guys learned from my mistakes. A year from now, I will suck even less, and I will have less of these problems, and more will happen. But look at those hands. They're posed well for once. Woo! Alright. I'm going to see you guys later. I'll be live streaming again tomorrow because Friday is my actual scheduled day. If you want to see these live streams whenever you want, you can join my $10 tier on Patreon. They have access to all my live streams, the recorded versions. So it's like 40 hours of me working more efficiently than this, I hope. Go get a milkshake. I would love a milkshake. I probably will. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.